Well, good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Alan Matthew, and we have a lot of things to talk about this evening, so let's get started. First things first, a live look out there this evening. Rain occurring across a large portion of the state. You can see there in Columbus, Mississippi, some raindrops on the camera looking into the downtown area. Still rain at this hour. Also, we're looking at Corinth, Mississippi. They, too, should still be experiencing rain, I believe, at this hour. We're above the freezing mark for now. Rain and lots of it making its way across the state. There has been a transition to some sleet and I believe more frozen wintry precip up there in the extreme northwestern portion of the state around the Memphis area, but it hasn't made its way quite this way just yet. So, we have several rounds of wintry weather to talk about. We'll start by talking about round one, which is expected to occur throughout the overnight hours tonight. As we go throughout the course of the evening, the rain will continue, and by the time we here in eastern central Mississippi get to the mid-wee hours of the morning, we're talking 2 a.m., 3 a.m.-ish, we're expecting a switch over to more of a mixed precipitation, more of a freezing rain type of precip, and that is why the National Weather Service in Jackson, Mississippi has issued a freezing rain advisory in effect from 3 a.m. this morning until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So this will have probably some travel impacts with it, particularly on bridges and overpasses. Those will be the first places to experience icing. You're going to want to make sure that you drive with caution. If you have to get up early tomorrow morning and head out, go to school, go to work, whatever, you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get there. Do not be in a hurry. Also, make sure you have a full tank of gas. That goes kind of with the whole driving slow. That's the only way that you can be safe. There will be some isolated patches of black ice, and we could see some minor icing, probably 1/10 of an inch or less on the roadways by the early morning hours tomorrow. So you want to monitor schools and all those things to make sure that your school, your work isn't closed. First things first tomorrow. There's another look at round one. This is critical thickness lines. This is just showing me what prompted the issuance of the freezing rain advisory. That yellow line there is a critical thickness for the lower layers of the atmosphere, and that's probably that line around there is where we're going to see that mixture of frozen precipitation, mainly freezing rain, I believe. 1/10 of an inch of ice or less doesn't sound like much, but it does bring with it some pretty hefty impacts. Icy windshields, icy bridges, overpasses, light icing on things like tree limbs and power lines. And driving typically is pretty dangerous, even with just 1/10 of an inch of ice, unless you slow down. And you may even see some isolated power outages, but not widespread with that much ice. All right, round two. Round two is expected to initiate sometime tomorrow afternoon. So this is very problematic for me and for other students who have classes tomorrow evening. I don't know what the situation is with classes, but we're expecting the precipitation to initiate once again during the afternoon hours. And again, it's mostly going to be freezing rain for here in central Mississippi. This is a great graphic by the NWS in Jackson. The freezing rain moves in here probably during the early afternoon hours and will continue into the early evening hours. So we could be adding, re-icing the roads again. And again, very tricky situation if you have to drive during those times. Here's, again, a look at the critical thickness. This is tomorrow, valid at 3 p.m. This critical thickness is off the NAM model, and that shows that critical thickness for the lower layers below us, to the south of us, so we could very well be in the fray for freezing rain again tomorrow. If that's not enough for you, here comes round three. Round three expected to initiate throughout the overnight hours, Monday into Tuesday morning. Live freezing rain again is mostly going to be the story for us here in Columbus, Oktibbeha, and places like that. Places further to the north around Tupelo, Corinth, and the like will mostly see sleet or snow for them. It'll be cold enough there, but here we're in the proximity of the freezing line, so it's mostly freezing rain for us. Okay, so let's stop talking about freezing rain because we're all getting sick of it. Let's talk about snow. If we're going to have wintry weather, why can't we just have snow? Well, good news. As we head into next week, we deal with wintry precip Monday and Tuesday. But alas, we get to Wednesday. Wednesday does, at least at the moment, stand to be the best chance that we have for seeing snowfall thus far this winter. This is the SREF probability of snow. This is just a bunch of models, coming together and predicting the probability of snowfall in excess of an inch. And there are some 50% values there across north central Mississippi, including Lowndes County, places like Amory, New Albany, and other places like that. This is our best chance there, and that's snowfall in excess of 1 inch. Let's keep going. What about 4 inches? Well, we still stand about a 25% chance as of now to see even in excess of 4 inches. So that's a decent chance, but probably may not see that much. Critical thickness lines for Wednesday. Oh yeah, this is good. You can see a big time bending here, and there's all kinds of critical thickness lines that are well to the south of us here. The yellow one for the lower atmospheres to the south, but also this white line here, that's the 1000 millibar through 500 millibar thickness. That's pretty much the lower half of the atmosphere below freezing, and that's well to the south of us down to around meridian. So that would be a good indication of snow. The atmosphere will be below freezing. Here's the sounding. I know this doesn't mean a hill of beans to y'all who aren't weather folks, but just want to point out the atmosphere temperature is below freezing well up into the atmosphere. And also, this is key, very moist. There's a very small depression between the temperature and the dew point. That just means that precipitation is likely to reach the surface. That's a very key thing. 12-hour mean snowfall valid at 6 p.m. Wednesday night. This is projecting maybe around 2 inches on the ground. That seems reasonable given the data that we just saw. But that's a very preliminary look. I just want to emphasize that. Wednesday is a long time in the future, and this is subject to change. But at this time, right now, this looks to be our best chance for snowfall. So when will we see a change in the weather pattern? When are we going to get out of this wintry precipitation rain stuff? And here we're just looking at the next several days. This actually takes us into the beginning of March here. A very active period for us from now into March. We have several trough features here coming down. This is actually the one that's going to be bringing that snow potential Wednesday. We have an upper level low pressure system. We call this a cold core low that will be sweeping through the region. That'll bring moisture in and also bring colder temperatures in to mix with that, which brings us snow chances. But then it doesn't stop there. We kind of go zonal here. Zonal flow is a very active weather pattern where we could see precipitation chances popping in and out for us during that period. And then more troughing coming down the west coast there. And I can't see the date there, but that looks to be next Saturday, going into next weekend. That's coming in. There's more zonal flow to start off the next week. So very active pattern continuing here. And that's what we see here issued by the CPC. Climate prediction says the next 8 to 14 days we stand a 60% chance of being wetter than average. And also, we're going to be on the cool side, 40% chance for the next 8 to 14 days of seeing below average temperatures. Especially for them folks up there around the Canadian border. Man, just brutal cold up there. We're talking negative temperatures up there for them. So, why so much wintry weather? Well, I just want to talk about this for a second. This is snowfall. The depth of snow on the ground as of 7 a.m. this morning. Please note all of the snow that you see here in the Midwest and just to the north of us. We've seen a lot of snowfall in recent weeks, just a week or two ago up in Kentucky, southern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. And that has really enhanced the ability of cold air to penetrate deeper into the southeastern portion of the United States. And, if we do see lots of cold air over this region next week, they could see more snowfall. And that's going to allow more cold air to work its way down here in the southeast. And we're going to continue to see, these chances for freezing rain, for sleet, for snow. It's very unusual for us, but that pattern could very well hold for the next week, 2 weeks. Heck, it could go on for several weeks for all I know. So that's what we're looking at here. Very cold air making it down in the central portion of the country that isn't modified a whole lot. But that's a look at your weather forecast. It's very active, period. I'm sure I'll be making updates and more videos like this in the coming days. If you want to find more information, you are welcome to connect with me via social media. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, Vine, Facebook, all that good stuff. I post updates, and I'll be making changes, modifications to this forecast. But y'all do monitor the weather as we head into tomorrow morning. Make sure you check on the conditions of the road before you head out. Make sure you take it slow on the road as well. Follow the Mississippi Department of Transportation for the latest on road conditions. Y'all have a safe and blessed evening, and I'm out.